Hi peaches, it's Shaaba, welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. Settle in, because it is that time. Every Monday we take a look at the subreddit Am I the A-hole? Because it's a little bit of juicy drama. We can hopefully help a couple people out and expand our own mindsets along the way. You know it, I know it, we can learn so much from the storytelling of others. Before we dive in though, and this is not an ad, so you can't be annoyed at me, I am the #1 fan, fight me if you think you are, of the one and only Jamie Dodger. He's an incredible creator who just so happens to be my husband, and he has written a book. That is right, the T in LGBT. It is the most beautiful book. I am a little bit biased, admittedly. However, if you are part of the LGBT+ community, or if you're an ally and would love to know a little bit more about how to support, or if you're just curious, you know, about the journey of someone who's walked a different path to you, this book is written with so much compassion, with so much love, with so much humility, and with so much candidness. Is that a word? It is now. That is why Jamie's the author and not myself. It is as beautiful inside as it is out, and I would be doing a disservice if I didn't shout out what is quite possibly one of the biggest achievements of my husband's. I can say husbands now because we're married. So if you're interested, you can go and take a look downstairs in the description box where I've left a little link for this puppy. For right now, let's dive into the arseholes. Am I the arsehole for eating before a planned group dinner? Alright, we're starting off kind of easy. This is not very spicy. This is korma level AITA. I've been vegan for the past 8 years. My new co-worker, Haley, planned a group bonding activity where we were going to eat at Lucille's Barbecue. Is this an American thing where I should know about Lucille's Barbecue? It's giving me Nando's vibes, am I right? We were then going to head to a nearby escape room afterwards. Oh my goodness, this sounds like such a fun outing. The location was decided on by Haley, who took our dietary information and then chose accordingly, apparently. Everyone seemed excited since this was going to be paid on the company card. Oh my goodness, this is a free meal and then a free escape room. Some people hate the idea of escape rooms, especially with work colleagues, but I personally am all up for a bit of forced participation. Anyway, so I wasn't going to complain since I couldn't expect them to change the plans just to accommodate for me only. So I just ate beforehand. Vegan, Lucille's Barbecue. I see the problem. No, you know what? I feel like you are within your right to not complain, but to be like, hey, just thought I'd let you know that as vegan, I can't eat very much at a barbecue. I would probably get in touch and just be like, hey, I've taken a look at the menu, totally fine if you'd like to stay here. Just think it's not the most friendly for my diet. However, here are some places that are amazing places to eat that have options for everyone, including myself. We read on. When we got to the restaurant, I had a couple of lemonades and no one seemed to care since we all just chatted normally. However, after dinner, Haley said that it was super rude of me to not even eat the bread or order a side and that it made her look bad. Haley, you kind of did bad, babe. You invited a vegan to a barbecue restaurant. You didn't think about the dietary requirements. I tried explaining that none of them were vegan and I didn't mind, but she was adamant that I should have just ordered something or people would think that I had an eating disorder. Calm down, Haley. Which I thought was super off-putting of her to accuse me. I told my brother, who thinks that I should have just ordered something, and went along with the rest of the group so no one would complain. Am I the asshole? No, my love. You're not the asshole. You were super kind. You didn't complain. You ate beforehand, and if none of the sides were vegan, why would you order something just for show? What Haley's trying to do is she's feeling bad and she's trying to put that bad on you because she feels guilty that she wasn't able to do something. So she's like, clearly it must be your fault. It's not your fault, my love. You were totally not the asshole. Not the asshole. If she's gonna get pissed at you for not eating, she needs to choose a restaurant that serves food that you can eat. You know what? Even if you could have eaten something, you are never obligated to order things just to appease the views of other people. Perhaps you're not feeling great that day. There have actually been occasions where I have gone to work events or even parties and been like, you know what? I'm not feeling too great today. I'm not going to eat, but I still want to socialise and chat. Just don't want to put anything in my very sensitive tummy area right now. That is totally fine. Who is anyone else to tell you what to put in your mouth? It's just weird. It's not like she didn't know. She just expected you to stop being vegan for her event, and that's not how it works. Nobody is obliged to eat anything at any time that they don't want to, and getting mad at someone for not eating is literal insanity. I don't think it's literal insanity. I think the word literally is used too much, but I understand the point of what this person's trying to say. I feel like this is a very straightforward one to ease us into today's video. Should we go fishing once more? Am I the asshole for sitting with my son at my wife's funeral? I'm a 25-year-old man, and I was with my wife, 53. I'm a 52-year-old man, and I was with my wife, who's also ADHD brain. No numbers. No numbers. I am a 52-year-old man. I was with my wife, 53, since high school. Got there in the end. We got married and had a son, 25-year-old man, and a daughter, 27-year-old woman. My son came out as gay when he was 16. My wife was never supportive of my son being gay. No! And it's Pride Month! How dare! He moved out at 19 to live with his boyfriend. My wife tried to pretend that he didn't exist. This hurts my soul. None of her family were supportive and would let it be known during family events, and as a result I became distant from my wife and was looking into divorce. Oh my goodness. I'm bamboozled. I am beyond confused as to how someone can be so bigoted towards somebody that you're supposed to unconditionally love, let alone for something that you have no control over, and that is literally love. It really blows my mind. And to think that something like that could not only affect one relationship, but then be the breakdown of a family, really hurts my soul. Having said that, and it feels so weird to be awarding something or to be encouraging something, but I have to say big brownie points to this dad for being so kind and sticking to your morals and standing up for your son and doing the right thing. That's a really big deal, and that support will mean the world to your son. I'm very sorry that this ended up this way though. That very much sucks. She got diagnosed with breast cancer last year, and I put the divorce on hold to help take care of her. Son also helped, but she would push him away. The cancer spread throughout her body and she passed away last week. We had the service last week and her family made it clear that son and his boyfriend had to sit away from everyone. My brother approached me asking if I would sit with him and his family, and I simply told him no and went to sit with my son. I am gonna cry! Everyone gave us dirty glares and it was worse during the reception. My brother approached me after the service angry that I chose my son over my wife. You didn't choose your son over your wife. You chose supporting someone who you stood up for above bigotry. He even went as far to say that my wife didn't want her son there as he was a disgrace. I am now disgraced by her family for supporting my son. This has caused tension between the families, and I'd just like to know if I was the arsehole. My love, I think you know the answer to this one, and you are absolutely not the arsehole. Here's the thing, you may have been a husband and you are still a father. What that means is showing support when a child deserves it. That is your duty as a parent in the world. But primarily just being a good person is sticking with your values, and as your values clearly align with your son's, you did the right thing. There's this tiny niggle in me, this super tiny niggle. Don't come at me. I'm voicing my thoughts. I'm having this conversation with you in an open space. I don't know the conclusion. My point is, there's part of me that's thinking, well, if the mum would have really disliked having the son there, was it wrong to bring the son to the funeral? But you know what? We don't know enough information. The family would have been disappointed with wherever you sat as long as the son came. And the son had the right to choose for himself whether he wanted to go there to honour his mum. I imagine that you had that chat. I imagine that you weren't forcing your son to come to the funeral. I think that ultimately that decision was up to your son, and you supported him in the best way that you can. I think you're very sweet. I think you're a very good dad. And I'm sorry that the family's rippling bigotry is having an effect on you when really you should just be allowed this time to grieve. Because divorce or not, this person clearly played a very big part in your life. Props to you for being such a decent father. Ooh, this was a very heavy one. Not the arsehole, but your wife's family sure as is. I'm sorry for this tough time. High five for being a supportive parent to your son. Sounds like he really needed you. And sorry, just to conclude, where my brain fart was, I don't think it was wrong for the son to come. The son deserves a right to closure for his mum, and it's just very kind of you to support him. Just wanted to clarify. Your wife's gone. Nothing you do now can offend her or cause her harm. What you can do will affect your son though. And you did the right thing, OP. The needs of the living come before the perceived wants of those past. That is so poetic. I'm sorry for your loss, but so glad that your son knows he has you, not the arsehole. I agree with that last sentence. I question and push back a little bit on the needs of the living coming before the perceived wants of the past, because I just see how that can be super problematic in the case of wills and trusts. If somebody has left money for a cause and not wanted it to go somewhere else, but just because they're past, you can't then say, well, you know, the wants of this person clearly outweigh the desires of this person who's no longer here, and so whatever your wants were in this will doesn't matter anymore. It's not an applicable rule that can be applied to many different scenarios, so as much as that is poetic, don't agree with it. Should we do one more? I think we should do one more. Am I the asshole for expecting to be invited to the wedding? Oh, there's a lot of wedding ones on the AITA forum. I'm okay with doing wedding ones. I've recently had my wedding, as you know, so I haven't shut up about it. I'm very big on not wanting to be a bridezilla, but one thing that I will say from that title is there are very few occasions where I feel like it's reasonable to be expected to be invited to a wedding. Whoever someone wants to invite to their wedding is their choice. I had a friend from a previous job who got engaged and asked me for a favour. I left that previous job to work at an upscale hotel, and she asked me to get her and her bridesmaids discounted hotel rooms. That is a big ask. I was able to swing about 10 suites, wow, for a very decent price compared to what they would normally sell for. Now, her and I weren't as close since I left the previous job we both worked at, but we text frequently. We just couldn't see each other due to conflicting work schedules. Honestly, at this point, I can see why you would expect an invite to the wedding. I'm assuming you're not getting one. I'm curious, let's read. Timeline was honestly pretty rushed. She was engaged and was soon to get married less than 2 months later, wow. The whole thing was expedited since her fiancé was in the military and soon to be on deployment. The way she said it is that she couldn't accompany him unless they were married. Accompany him as in go with him? I'm curious, but I don't think this is the point of the post. Her and I were talking. I asked what the theme was for the wedding so I knew what to wear. She awkwardly said I wasn't invited. Dun dun dun. I was surprised I wasn't invited, at least out of courtesy for doing a favour with the wedding block. She said she just couldn't afford to include anyone else. It wasn't a small venue either. Her invite list alone, not including the grooms, was over 100, varying from close family, friends, and very distant relatives. This is a tricky one. See, I'm the wrong person to ask because I did invite most of the suppliers that I was very close with to the wedding. Our celebrant who did our ceremony, we became very close friends with, and she was totally invited. Our photographers who were there, we're friends now. We're trying to arrange pizza dates. Like, I'm like, yay, more friends. However, I definitely don't think that just because someone has done something for your wedding that they are to be invited. I do think though, this person is also your friend. You guys texted, you speak, she's done a big job for you, mostly because of the friendship thing, and then you're inviting her in the planning of the wedding. I too, if I was in a position of OP here, would have expected an invite. And yes, I also see OP's thinking of, you know, well, it's not a tiny wedding. If one side is 100 people and that includes friends and distant relatives, in one sense I'm like, well, 100 people isn't too much. If you really think about it, like my family is so big, we had a small wedding. That was around 100 people, but my point is, for us, that was super intimate because you know how the Asians do. Our families can be so big, there's typically like 8 people to a family. So, you know, when you add that up, that's not too many groups of people. But let's see. I let her know I didn't understand, since it was such a large, lavish event, how she couldn't squeeze one more person. Ooh, this is making me feel awkward. At this point, I do think you should have been invited. Having said that, I don't think you should be like pushing back and really requesting multiple times to be invited. You asked, she said you weren't invited. I would have left at this point, personally. She said it was impossible and they're at the top of their budget. I said if that was the case, then they would need to find other accommodations for their wedding, as I was giving them an extreme discounted rate due to our friendship. Now the bridesmaids are calling me the arsehole for cancelling their rooms. Am I the arsehole? Whoa. Hang on, before we carry on, there are a couple of edits here. I'm the general manager of the property. My boss is the owner of many other properties. The rate that I was offering wasn't a standard group rate. It was significantly lower, about $100 a night for the suites. I'm not American, I don't know what hotel you work in, but I can tell you that that is a very cheap rate for a suite. And another edit here, after the blowout, I heard from one of my old co-workers that was invited that before everything went sideways, the bride was bragging about how much money she was saving with my discount and how it could be put into more expensive decorating, flowers, etc. So not inviting me because of budgeting seemed like a poor excuse after that fact. I do hear you, however, it is the bride's incentive. It's their wedding. If they want to ask for a discount, they've got a discount. If they have extra money, they can spend it how they want to spend it. Just saying. My verdict is everybody sucks here. Yes, that feels right. I am so sorry, OP, that you definitely seemed to be mistreated. I don't think that was very kind at all. I too would have expected an invite based on what you were saying. Having said that, if you're offering a service, right, it's work, I just think you can't then take it away. There was no actual guarantee that you would have been invited. You didn't offer it on the basis that you were being invited. Maybe in your mind you did, but you didn't communicate that. And that's just not how business works. Torn between not the arsehole and everybody sucks here. Gonna go with not the arsehole. Random people don't get to use your work benefit for a discount. Friends and family, sure. She made sure you knew you were not top 100 friends, so why help her out? Fair enough. I appreciate that point of view. I still go with everybody sucks here, but fair. Wow, yeah, not even in the top 100 friends and asking for a huge favour. Yep, the bride knew what she was doing and bragged about it. Not the arsehole. I seem to be in a bit of a minority here. I stand strong with my verdict though, just based on what I would do. Hey, we all have different opinions and that is totally okay. We can agree to disagree. Maybe you lovely peaches think differently, but I would be like, you know what? Lesson learned. I've been burnt on this one. Take your rooms. I'm probably just not going to speak to you again because I think that was very rude. You clearly don't value my time. I bent over backwards for you. You have not shown any interest or value towards me, and therefore I know where I stand and it is not in this friendship. And that's okay. But I would still honour the commitment that I have made. I just think it's the right thing to do. Clearly though, the bride is in the wrong, especially with the bragging. My verdict would have been very different though if you then didn't retract the wedding thing. If you had just said that that's what it was and you were like, I'm unhappy with it, absolutely I would have said the bride's the asshole, which is not what I would have thought from the title of this post, but I wouldn't bring myself down like that to almost beg to be invited to someone's wedding. You know, if you don't want me there, that's fine. I would have wanted to be there. I now know where I stand. Okay. It's okay to feel hurt sometimes. It's okay to feel devalued. And I personally don't think in those situations the right thing to do is to pressure yourself into being more valued. Sometimes it's just a good opportunity to walk away. What do you think? I feel like that last one was a little bit controversial. Let me know your thoughts downstairs, lovely peaches. Just be kind in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Remember, Jamie's book is available for pre-order, link below. Be kind and have a great day. Bye.